Welcome. We are reading The Last Vampire, Phantom. Ooh. As of right now, we know that Sita has turned from a 5,000-year-old vampire to human. So, let us begin. I nod. I think partly. I don't think Krishna approved of vampires. I think he just allowed me to live out of his deep compassion for all living things. Maybe there was another reason. Perhaps I touch his face. Did I ever tell you how dear you are to me? He smiles. No. You were always too busy threatening to kill me. I feel a stab of pain. It is in my chest, where a short time ago a stake pierced my heart. For a moment the area is raw with an agonizing burn, as if I am bleeding to death. But it is a brief spasm. I draw in a shuddering breath and take in a sad voice. I always kill the ones I love. He takes my hand. That was before. It can be different now that you are not a monster. I have to laugh, although it is still not easy to take a deep breath. Is that a line you use to get a girl to go to bed with you? He leans closer. I already have you in bed. I roll onto my side. I need to take a shower. We both need to rest. He draws back disappointed. Oh my God. All right. You haven't changed that much. I stand and fluff up his hair, trying to cheer him up. But I have. I'm a 19-year-old girl again. You just forget what monsters teenage girls can be. He has suddenly moved. I never knew the exact age you were when Yaksha changed you. I pause and think of Rama, my long-dead husband, and Lalita, my daughter, cremated 50 centuries ago in a place I was never to know. Yes, I say softly. I was almost 20 when Yaksha came for me, and because I was suspended so long between the ages, I add again, almost. An hour later, Seymour is fast asleep beside me on the king-size bed, but despite my physical exhaustion, my mind refuses to shut down. I can't be free of the images of Joel and Arturo's faces from 2 nights earlier, when I suddenly began to turn to light, to dissolve, to leave them just before the bomb was detonated. At the time, I knew I was dead. It was a certainty. Yet one last miracle occurred, and I lived on. Perhaps there was a reason. I climb out of bed and dress. Before leaving the hotel room, I load my pistol and tuck it in my belt. At the back, pulling my sweatshirt over it. The hotel is located on Ocean Ave. I cross over it, and the coast highway that separates me from the ocean. Soon I am walking along the dark and foggy Santa Monica beach. Not the safest place to be in the early morning hours before the sun rises. Yet, I walk briskly, heading south, paying little attention to my surroundings. What work it is to make my legs move over the sand. It is as if I walk with weights strapped around my ankles. Sweat drips in my eyes and I pant audibly, but I feel good as well. Finally, after 30 minutes of toil, my mind begins to relax, and I contemplate returning to the hotel, trying to sleep. It is only then that I become aware that 2 men are following me. They are 50 yards behind me. In the dark, it is hard to distinguish their features, but it is clear They are both Caucasian and well built, maybe 30 years old. They move like two good old boys, one dark-featured, ugly, and the other bright as a bottle of beer foaming in the sunlight. I think these boys have been drinking beer, and stronger, and are feeling uncomfortably horny. I smile to myself as I anticipate the encounter. Even imagine what their blood will taste like. Then I remember I am not who I used to be. A wave of fear sweeps through my body, but I stand and wait for them to come to me. "Hey, girl," the one with dark hair says with a southern accent. What what are you doing out this time of night?" I shrug. "Just for a walk." "What are you guys up to?" The blond guy snickers. "How old are you, girl?" "Why?" I ask. The dark-haired one moves slightly to my left. He flexes his fists as he speaks. "We just want to know if you're legal." "I'm old enough to vote," I say. "Not old enough to drink." "You boys been drinking tonight?" They both chuckle. The blond guy moves a step closer. He smells of beer, whiskey. You might say we've been looking at the wrong end of a few bottles tonight. But don't let that worry you none. We're still fully capable of finishing what we start. I take a step back. Perhaps it's a mistake that I show fear. I don't want any trouble, I say. And I mean it, although I feel as if I can still take them. After all, I am still a master of martial arts. A series of swift kicks to the groins, their jaws, should settle any unpleasantness. The dark-haired guy steps off to my left and wipes at his slobbering mouth with the back of his arm. "We don't want trouble either," he says. "We're just looking for a good time." I catch his eye and really wish that my stare was still capable of burning into his brain. Seymour was right. My wishes have already settled into a pattern of wanting in what I lost, yet I do my best to make my voice hard. "Sometimes a good time can cost you," I say. "I don't think so," the blond guy says. "You agree, John?" "She looks like a freebie to me, Ed," John responds. They've used their names in front of me. That is a bad sign. It means they're either too drunk to know better, or else they plan to kill me. The latter seems a distinct possibility, and since they clearly intend to rape me, I take another step back. And am tempted to reach for my gun. Yet I don't really want to kill them, especially since there's no need for their blood. Knocking them unconscious is my preference. Actually, it is my second preference. Surviving is my first. "If you touch me, I'll scream," I warn them. "No one's going to hear you down here," John says, as he reaches out to grab me. "Take her, Ed." They go for me simultaneously. John close on my left, Ed 3 feet in front of me. But it's John who reaches me first. He has pretty good reflexes for a drunk. Before I can twist away, he catches me in a bear hug. Briefly, I struggle, and then I go limp. When Ed closes within 2 feet, however, I shove back against John and jump up, lifting both feet off the ground, lashing out with the right. I catch Ed in the groin. He shouts in pain and doubles up. "The bitch got me," he complains. "God damn it," John yells in my ear. "You're going to pay for that." In response, I slash backward and up with my left elbow. The blow catches John square in the jaw, and his hold on me loosens as he staggers back. In an instant I am free. Since Ed is still bent over, I do him the favor of kicking him in the face, breaking his nose. He drops to his knees, his face dark with blood. "Help me, John," he moans. "Help me, John," I mock, as John regains his balance and stares at me with death in his eyes. I gesture with my little finger. "Come on, John. Get your good time, girl." John charges like a bull. I leap up and lash out with my left foot in order to kiss his jaw with the heel of my boot. The only trouble is that my timing and balance are all off. I have not risen far enough off the ground. Instead of striking him in the face, I hit him just above his heart, and the blow is not nearly the power I anticipated. John is a big man, over 200 pounds. He grunts in pain as I strike, but he doesn't stop. The momentum of his charge brushes aside my leg. Now it is me who is suddenly off balance. Frantically, I try to bring my left leg up, my left back in beneath me. Oh, wow. All right. Frantically, I tried to bring my left leg back in beneath before I land, but I am too late. With a thud, I topple on my right foot and hit the sand with the right side of my face. John is on me in a second, grabbing me from behind, pinning my arms midway up my spine. He's strong. My upper vertebrae feel as if they will explode. With the free hand, he smacks me on the back of my head. "You are one nasty bitch," he swears as he presses his face into the sand. Straining, I twist my head to the side so that I can breathe and see what is going to happen to me. "Ed, give me a hand with this whore. She looked like a good sport to begin with, but I'm afraid when we're done pleasing ourselves, we're going to have to bury her in this spot." "We'll let the crabs eat her," Ed agrees as he staggers over, still bleeding profusely from his smashed nose. Behind me, John reaches around for the button on my pants. That is something of a break, because if he had tried to pull my pants down from behind, he would have found the gun. Also, reaching around as he is, I realize John is slightly off balance. Digging in with my right knee and pushing off with the tip of my left foot, I shove up as hard as possible. The move catches John by surprise, and I momentarily break free and roll in the sand, but my freedom will be measured in fractions of a second if I don't take drastic action. Squirming onto my back, I see both John and Ed staring down at me with stupid grins. They look 10 feet tall and as ugly as a highway billboard. Together they reach for me. "Wait," I cry as I move my right hand slowly under my lower back. "If I lie still and cooperate, will you please not hurt me?" They pause to think about that. "You better lie still, bitch," John says finally. "But you're messed up my friend too much to just walk away from tonight. But we might give you a chance to crawl away," Ed says, wiping at his bloody face and picking at his broken nose, all in the same move. "I won't leave here crawling," I say in a different tone of voice, and my hands find the butt of my gun. Leaning slightly to the left, I whip it out and point it at the good old boys. They stare at it, frankly, as if they have never seen a gun before. Then they both take a step back, maintaining my aim. I take my time getting back to my feet. I speak gently. "That's right, boys," I say. "No sudden move. No screams for help." John chuckles uneasily. "Hey, you got us, girl. You got us good. We'll give you that. but we didn't mean you no harm. We drank a little too much and didn't know what we were doing. We weren't going to hurt you none, Ed adds, sounding scared as well as he should. Still taking my time, I stop within a foot of Ed and place the barrel of the gun between his eyebrows. His eyes get real big. He wants to turn and run, but I stop him with a faint shake of my head. To my left, John stands frozen in wonder and horror. You are both liars, I say in a cold voice. You were not only going to rape me, you were going to kill me. Now, I'm going to kill you because you deserve to die. But you should be grateful I'm using a gun. A few nights ago, I would have used my teeth and nails, and you would have died much slower. I pause. Say goodbye to John, Ed. Ed is consumed with murderer's remorse. Please, he says, his voice cracking, I have a wife and a kid back home. If I die, who will take care of them? I've got 2 kids back home, John says passionately, but I am unmoved. Being human has not made me more gullible. Yet I usually do not kill when I have the upper hand. I do not kill for pleasure. But I know these 2 will harm others in the future, and therefore it is better that they die now. It is better for your children not to grow up having to imitate trash like you, I say. Ed's face is awash with tears. No, he cries. Yes, I say, and I shoot him in the head. He falls hard. I turn the gun on John, who slowly backs away, shaking his head. Have mercy, please. I don't want to die. Then you should never have been born, I reply. I shoot him twice in the face, in the eyes. Yet that is all I do. The ancient thirst is gone. I leave their bodies for the crabs. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now we are on chapter 3. It is only on the way back that the shock of what just happened overwhelms me. Ordinarily, killing a couple of jerks would occupy my mind for less than 10 seconds. But now it is as if I feel the trauma in every cell. My reaction is entirely human. As I stumble off the beach and back onto Ocean Ave, I shake visibly. I scarcely notice that I am still carrying the gun in my right hand. Chiding myself, I hide it under my sweatshirt. If I was in my right mind, I would throw it in the ocean in case I'm stopped and searched. But I'm reluctant to part with the gun. I feel so vulnerable. It is like a safety blanket to me. There is a coffee shop open 3 blocks from the sea. Staggering inside, I take a booth in the corner and order up a cup of black coffee. It is only when the steaming beverage arrives and I wrap my trembling hands around the mug that I notice a faint mist of blood splattered on the front of my gray sweatshirt. It must be on my face as well, and I reach up and brush at my skin, coming up with red-stained palms. What a fool I am, I think, to be out like this in public. I am on the verge of leaving when someone walks in the coffee shop, heads straight to my table, and sits down across from me. It is Ray Riley, the love of my life. He is supposed to be dead. He nods slightly as he settles across from me, and I'm struck by the fact that he is dressed exactly as when he ignited the gasoline truck outside the warehouse, filled with Eddie Fender's evil vampires, and blew himself to pieces. When he sacrificed his life to save mine, he wears a pair of black pants, short sleeve white silk shirt, Nike running shoes. His brown eyes are warm as always, his handsome face serious even though he wears a gentle smile. Yes, it is Ray. It is a miracle. The sight of him stirs so much emotion inside me that I feel almost nothing. I am shocked, pure and simple. I can only stare with damp eyes and wonder if I am losing my mind. I know this is a surprise for you, he says softly. I nod. Yes, a surprise. I know you thought I was dead. He continues, and I think I was dead for a time. When the truck exploded, I saw the bright flash of light. Then everything went black, and I fell as if I were floating in the sky, but I couldn't see anything. No anything, even though I was not in pain. I don't know how long this continued. Eventually, I became aware of my body again, but it was as if I was at a great distance from it. The strange thing was, oh, interesting. That's not supposed to happen. The strange thing was, I could feel only parts of it. Portion of my head, one throbbing hand, a burning sensation in my stomach. That was all at first, but slowly more parts woke up, and I finally began to realize someone was trying to revive me by feeding me blood. He pauses. Do you understand? I nod again. I am a statue. Eddie, I whisper. A spasm of pain crosses Ray's face. Yes. Eddie collected what was left of me and took me away to some dark, cold place. There he fed me his blood, Yaksha's blood, and I began to come back to life. But Eddie vanished before the process was complete, and I was left only half alive. He pauses again. I assume you destroyed him. I nod again. Yes. He reaches across the table and takes my hands. His skin is warm, and it quiets. He trembles that continue deep inside me. He continues his impossible tale, and I listen because I can do nothing more. Still, I continue to gain strength without Eddie's help. In a day, maybe it was two, I was able to move about. I was in a deserted warehouse, tied with a rope. I had no trouble breaking out, and when I did, I read about all the strange goings on in Las Vegas. And I knew you must be there. He stops. It was me who was at the door. I nod for the fourth time. No wonder the voice sounded familiar. Why didn't you identify yourself? I asked. I knew you wouldn't believe me until you saw me. That's true. He squeezes my hands. It's me, Sita. I've come back for you. It's Ray. Why can't you at least smile? I try to smile, but I just end up shaking my head. I don't know. You were gone. I knew you were gone. I had no hope. My eyes burn with tears, and I don't know if I'm not just imagining this. You were never one to imagine things, but I'm no longer the one you knew. I withdraw my hands from his and clasp them together, trying to hold myself together. I'm human now. The vampire is dead. He is not surprised. You let go of my hands too quickly, Sita. If you examine them, you will notice a change in me as well. What do you mean? I gasped. I watched you at that house. I watched you enter, and I watched you leave it. I knew you were not the same. and I wondered what had happened in there. I explored the house and found the basement. The copper sheets, the crystals, the magnets, the vial of human blood. He pauses. I performed the same experiment on myself. I am no longer a vampire either. Interesting. He shocks and keeps piling on one on top of the other. I cannot cope. How did you know what to do? I whisper. He shrugs. What was there to know? The equipment was all set up. I just had to lie down and allow the vibration of human blood to wash over my aura as the reflected sun shone along through the vial of blood. He glances out the window. There is a kind of light in the east. I did it this afternoon. Now the sunrise will no longer hurt me. The tears in my eyes travel over my cheeks. My mind travels with them as my disbelief washes away. Swallowing thickly, I finally feel as if my body returns to my control. In a burst, I realize I am not imagining anything. Ray is not dead. My love is alive. Now I can live my life. Leaning across the table, I kiss his lips. Then I brush his hair and kiss that as well. And I am happy, more happy than I can remember being in thousands of years. It's you, I whisper. God, how can it be you? He laughs. You have Eddie to thank. I sit back down in my seat and feel my warm human heart pounding in my chest. My anxiety, my fear, my confusion, all these things have now transformed into a solitary glow of wonder. For a while now, I have cursed Krishna for what he has done to me, and now I can only bow inside in gratitude, for I have no doubt Krishna has brought Ray back to me, not that monster Eddie Fender. Let's not speak his name, I say. I cut off his head, and burn his remains. He is gone. He will never return. I pause. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. My little timer is about to go off. Now, what do you think of Ray? I always think if something is too good to be true, it normally is. I don't trust. Is this the real Ray, or is he something else? I think he's something else. Alright, self-promotion time. I am the YA horror author of Vampire Juice. It is a horror mystery, a YA horror mystery adventure. Teen romance, and of course vampires. You can't have a horror story without vampires. It is fast-paced and character-driven. It is spooky and creepy like Fear Street and Are You Afraid of the Dark? And it's reminiscent of The Lost Boys. Amanda and Sean stumble upon a mysterious can of juice while searching for Halloween costumes at a local store. Despite being kicked out by the sales clerk, they become obsessed with uncovering the truth behind the strange drink. With the help from some local bullies, they sneak back into the store through a crypt in the graveyard, only to find themselves in the midst of a spine-chilling adventure. Well, that's it for today. Tomorrow we will continue our story of the last vampire, Phantom.